Good evening. We'd like to officially start our program. I am Sister Toya Hankins. I am the program director for Gamma Xi Phi Theta Chapter. As you were able to see on the flyer, we are a chapter located and servicing the Raleigh-Durham area. Today we're doing our first official program, since you can tell we're new on the scene. So we're doing the flavor of filmmaking. We have 3 filmmakers with us today, so we're gonna have a chance to chat a little bit about their art and craft and showcase some of their work. Thomas DeFranz, I apologize, serving as moderator. But before we jump into it, I would ask our national president of Gamma Xi Phi, Chi Darden, to give us a little bit of greetings and insight concerning the organization. Brother Darden.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I am so proud to give you greetings on behalf of the entire national organization of Gamma Xi Phi. We were established in 2010 at Ramapo College of New Jersey, and we have grown since then to include many people and many chapters. We are a fraternity that invites men and women of all backgrounds to serve their communities in artistic ways. From New Jersey to New York to DC, and now here in North Carolina and also in Alabama. We are so proud of our growth and our expansion. And from one idea of 4 friends in undergrad, it has expanded to dozens upon dozens of communities and individuals living from as far away as San Diego and London. So here in North Carolina, I'm also in North Carolina in the over on the eastern side in Northampton County. I am so grateful that the first chapter in the South is Theta Chapter in the Triangle area. And I am grateful that my friend Toya Hankins is the program director of this wonderful chapter. So if you are interested in membership in Gamma Xi Phi or learning more, you can visit our website, gammaxiphi.com, or you can talk to any member. We don't bite. We are happy to talk to you about our experiences, and we do ask that anything you think you know about fraternities and sororities, please turn it upside down and inside out, because we are not like any other Greek letter organization. So without further ado, back to our program director, Toya Hankins.
Thank you. Thank you again for everyone participating. As I had stated, we have 3 filmmakers online with us, and I'm going to actually turn it over to Brother France to begin the program. We have a panel discussion where we're going to have questions and answers. If you happen to think of some questions you would like to ask, please use the chat feature, and we'll be glad to pass that on so that the filmmakers will be able to participate. So I'm going to turn it over to Brother Thomas.
Thank you so much. It is such a pleasure to be among our colleagues and artists, and to be among these incredible filmmakers, to hear something about what you've been working on, what you're working on now, and inspire us towards sharing our stories and the technology of the arts as a way for us to do better. It's one of the things I love about the arts, is that it gives us an opportunity to literally just do better. So we have three amazing artists with us tonight. Leslie Cunningham, I wonder if we could start with you, if you don't mind. We'll follow the order on the list that was given out in the prologue. And how are you doing, Leslie?
I'm great. Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
So glad you're here. And you know, like all of the artists who are featured in this event tonight, have had a really dynamic and extravagant career in a lot of directions. I love that one word that we use in your bio is raconteur. So I think of you as someone with a ready to go and kind of tell us what's what. Do you like that word in your biography?
I love that, right?
Can you tell us just a little bit? Yeah, go for it. Mm-hmm.
Well, no, when I was younger, I remember wanting to be an actress and loving classic film. And I'm from Los Angeles, and so I was sort of in that world, I guess, when I was younger. And I entered into design and marketing in school, and I started working for an ad agency in Washington, D.C. that did a lot of PSAs, a lot of public service announcements. And I was a production assistant, and I was in my early 20s. And I think that's where my love of video really kicked in, just being out there carrying equipment around, and being on shoots, and being in shoots, and just that whole world was just so fun to me. So I knew when I relocated to Durham that I wanted to go to the Center for Documentary Studies. That was like on my, my to-do list for sure. But it took me years to get there. I did a lot of stuff before that. I actually, I'm a journalist by nature. I came to North Carolina, and I published 2 publications. One of them was a LGBT magazine, and that sort of flopped early on. And then I started a magazine called Tribes Magazine, which covered indie art in the Triangle area. And I did that for over a decade, where I just sort of, myself and a whole group of volunteers, we just covered all the stories of all the indie artists that, were doing anything, that were making noise in the Triangle. And then I started Tribes TV, and I went to like a local community television station called the People's Channel in Chapel Hill, and I started producing Tribes TV. And I'm not going to talk a lot. Can I show? Because I love visuals. So can I show you what I do?
Oh, of course, we want to do that. Yes, let's go for that. Let's go ahead and look at something together. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll just as soon as you give me permission, I'll just share my screen.
Okay, I got you. So, no, I don't have you, Brother RC, you need to do that.
Let me just pull up Tribes, and it's all there. Cool. Okay. So yeah, this is Tribes. It's my production company, Tribes Entertainment, and basically I started this magazine that covers urban entertainment and arts, and then I created Tribes TV, which is how I met LaToya. I came out and we did sort of we were just covering what was happening in the indie scene, and LaToya said, "Hey, can you come out and cover Triangle Black Pride?" And that's how I met LaToya and her folks. And I hadn't gone to doc film school yet. I was just doing a lot of video, learning how to, shoot and edit. And so Tribes TV is sort of where I really started doing the film work. And from there, I decided to go to doc film school. I went to Center for Documentary Studies for about 4 years. And I really learned, I knew how to tell a story in print. I knew how to write a story, but to tell a story on film was something that I really wanted to learn. So I ended up at the Center for Documentary Studies. And my first film that was my project that I had to complete before I graduated was called MI. So this is my first feature documentary film. And MI, which stands for Male Illusionist, MI is about a woman named Nation Tyree, that's her stage name.
Yes.
And she basically is a beautiful and amazing stage performer. I don't want to call her a drag king because there is a difference between a drag king and a male illusionist.
That's
so
right.
she tells me. So I'll let you just take a peek at this trailer, which is just a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
Can you guys hear that?
We couldn't hear it yet. No sound. Did you turn up the sound? Can you turn up the sound on the YouTube, on the app there? Right. Oh, it's already up.
Yeah, it's coming out of my speakers, but it's not playing, which sort of sucks.
If you unshare and then optimize the sound, that usually does it. So when you share it again, at the bottom, there's a optimize sound button. Do you see it?
Let's see. Mute participants, pause, more. Optimize for video clip? No.
That's it. And then the sound next to it. Yes.
Okay, so here, this is a 2-minute clip of MI.
Beautiful.
Because it's hard out here for transsexuals and drag queens, as well as drag kings.
Nobody calls me, period.
But she had shows on shows on shows.
We run the club, we run the spot, we run the show, we run everything.
Ah, yes.
I'm a female, I live my life as a female. I just transformed into a male.
A little hard rock, young fella.
The Nation was our first child in our families. I still had to act right and play my part before I was even accepted to be a talent.
Are you a transgender female?
No, that's her personal view.
I'm not going to walk around anywhere like that.
Well, you know what? I'm the first lady.
That's not what I am.
I picture in the paper. I'm a lone ranger. I feel all alone. I feel like a stranger. I'm riding on this road. I'm a lone ranger. I feel all alone. I feel like a stranger.
So that's MI. And that was my film project. And you know, it was very close to my heart. It took me about 2 years to finish it, but it was close to my heart because I'm in the LGBT community. I'm very out and proud of it. And I really wanted my first documentary to be something around my community. And I loved Paris is Burning. That was like one of the documentaries that really pushed me into wanting to create documentaries. So this is sort of like, a lot of people say this is like the next version of Paris is Burning, but for women, right? So yeah, that was MI. And then from there, I played a little bit with just different types of film work. I had a friend who, I had a friend who was looking for her father.
Right.
And while I was going through finishing up school, and I was on Ancestry.com, and one day she told me she had never met her dad and she was looking for him. And so I went on Ancestry.com and I was able to find her dad. It was weird. I found him. We found her sisters. You know, unfortunately, her father had passed away, but she had 3 sisters in California that she had never met. So I just decided I want to go, and I took my camera and I sort of followed her around while she met her sisters. So, but it allowed me to play. This was just like a really short 11-minute it allowed me to play with sort of different camera shots and use cell phone footage and just anything I could to put this little story together. So I'll just show you 1 minute of the beginning so you get the sense of what I mean by the use of cell phone footage.
Okay, thank you.
So I was searching for my father all day. I found out that he passed away. So then I did some more research and found some girls who apparently are my sisters. And so I inboxed them not knowing. And they said that he told her, so he knew about me, so. Where you going?
See my family, California, surprise them.
Wow, Leslie.
Yeah,
It's just super exciting. It's super exciting, this work. And so many of these projects we can get to through the website. Is that correct? On Tribes Entertainment?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. And then, so all this led me to my final project that I'm working on now. I've been, for 10 years, I've been working on my own family legacy and really trying to understand, first of all, who am I and why am I so in love with entertainment and indie arts, and you know, what is that about me? And I realized that it's really sort of like you know, innately in me, because my grandfather was an impresario. He owned a Black and Cuban traveling revue, and he was Tampa's first Black millionaire. This is my grandfather in the middle there with the tux on, very, very, very sharp, very dapper. And he owned this amazing girl show. But you know, when I was growing up, we didn't hear a lot about it because there was a lot of family secrets going on. I don't know what was happening, but my grandmother, who performed on this show, and my aunts who performed on this show, I knew I had heard when I was younger that they performed on a show called Harlem in Havana, but that's really all I knew. Until my grandma went into the nursing home and we started going through her boxes, and my father started writing a book about his time on this show. And then all the secrets came out, and then all the history came out. And so I knew nothing. And I had to start 10 years ago, I had to start putting the pieces together of what this show was and who was my grandfather, who was this man I never met. So this is just a 3-minute clip, and then I'll stop talking and let you ask questions.
For the past 10 years, I've been traveling across the country, documenting my grandfather, Leon Claxton's legacy of Harlem in Havana.
First place that I worked with him was in Tampa, and at the fairgrounds, on tents, all down in the midway where they had other shows. There was Harlem in Havana, which was our show.
I was actually raised on the show before the actual Claxton children came along. I was the only kid traveling with Harlem in Havana anyway.
And when it comes to putting on a real live show, the carnival has its own aristocrats of tinsel.
Leon Claxton's Harlem Revue was arguably the best girl show, black or white, that ever came down the pike.
Its success with Royal American was phenomenal. I don't know anything that could have ever beaten that. The class and the amount of talent that he brought in from Cuba, it was unbelievable.
Black people, these beautiful Black women dressed in these costumes that were just stunning. They could dance, they could sing. It was just an absolutely hypnotic kind of experience to see this.
I understand that his wife, Gwendolyn, was the business end of the operation, and it was through her efforts that Leon Claxton became Tampa's first black millionaire, because he wouldn't have done it on his own.
Step right up, folks, the show is about to begin. It's Harlem and Havana time, come right in. Step right up, folks, the show is about to begin. It's Harlem and Havana time, come right in.
There became this connotation to the blacks around the show when they danced. It was comically, they said that they were doing a jig, or they looked like a jig or something of that nature, and it stuck.
End of the midway by the Ferris wheel, there's a band that plays You Can't Help How You Feel. And my maid ran away with if you go the sex train, so bold and snaky. Black girls dancing long and lanky. Hoochie coochie, Auntie Ruthie would have cried if she knew we were shaking our booty.
There was segregation problems in the South.
Come right in.
After the revolution, not having access to those bodies meant that there would be a change.
He must have struggled with the kinds of oppression that his money couldn't shield him from.
Come right in.
I wasn't selling to nobody.
So Claxton said, shut the show down, cut it down, shut it down. They had to shut it down in Memphis.
All right, so that.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh my goodness, we're all clapping and
thank you.
snapping.
I love what I do. This is not full-time career for me. I actually am an advertising and marketing professional, but this is sort of like my passion, and so I do it in my spare time. I've been doing it sort of part-time for the past 10, 12 years. So but yeah,
we've been lucky enough to cross paths, and I remember this project from being a humanities advisor to it, and we also share this this grandparents in show business. My grandmother was a dancer in Chicago in one of the nightclubs, and that was something we didn't talk about in my family either until later, until we were all a little bit more mature. But I thank you so much. We're going to turn to Rukiya Shanteel. I'm so excited to have you here and to know more about your work. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. How are you feeling?
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm doing just fine. Thank you. I'm happy that we're moving out of COVID, whatever this has been. But it's been nice to be able to meet people in this kind of format too, because we might not have figured out how to get together, but here we are. So that's good. Are you right in Durham? Can you tell us where you are?
I'm actually in Greensboro, North Carolina right now.
Greensboro. Okay. And tell us, please, a little bit of how you got to where you are as a filmmaker.
Ooh, I think that I've always loved movies, any type of narrative, anything like that. Because I remember being in first grade, I used to have like a lot of energy, but I used to write all the time. And I thought I had got in trouble one day, but my teacher, because she had a conference with my mom, and she was like, no, you have a writing on your hands. You need to let her focus on that and do that. But I didn't really get into that until later on, when I saw a need for trying to create different type of content and stuff like that. I'm self-taught when it comes to like all the filmmaking, because it kind of started when it would be like artists out here, like, like they have their music videos and stuff like that. I would help them. I was like, oh, well, I'm trying to learn how to do this, and we can kind of work together. We can just, learn together and see what happens. I've done a series of short films. I had one feature film that was released nationally. I did a short film with LaToya, and thank you, LaToya, for this whole little meet and greet situation. Thank you. But we showed a short film there, which is all kind of like impromptu. I wrote the script, but I gave them freedom to kind of have fun and to tap into that. But once that show, that Shades of Pride, I showed it in one of my classes, because like Leslie too, I went to school for advertising and graphic design. So that's the thing. But when I showed it, the feedback I would get, people would come to me and cry after they saw the short. And I didn't think it would resonate that way, but I started to realize that people need a voice. And I think when they watched that, they felt a part of, themselves in that content. I got a regular 9-to-5, so I'm still doing that, gotta do that. But that's what I have to utilize that little bit of, those funds to kind of do what I love to do. I recently started painting. So in any of my projects that you see, you'll see some of like my clothing to be in there, or my artwork will be in the background, embedded somewhere in there. For the future, I pretty much look forward to finishing things that I've started. You know, because some things, it took a little longer than I thought it would, but I will say, because of COVID, having more time to think, revamp things, and recreate and find out the direction I really wanted to go in as a filmmaker. I think LaToya has a video that she could show you guys that I just sent her. It'll kind of give you like just little snippets of things that I've worked on. I think the most current thing on there will probably be the last thing that shows up. Oh, because we did a music video for it's called We Rise. So you're gonna see a clip of that. Me and my best friend Evan, we created it during COVID-19 because he recorded his part and his location. I recorded mine at my location. We kind of come together, create that. So it's a snippet of that. That's the last thing. We're about to release that, but I don't know if LaToya can chime in and play the video so you can see some of my work.
Let's go for it. Thank you so much. Here we go.
Don't even try and play me, okay? I may have been stupid believing in your ass, but I'm not no fool. Listen to me. Don't listen to what? What you want me to listen to? How you walk around here like you're God's gift to women?
Izzy, I didn't.
You gonna sit here and tell me you ain't?
I don't even know who you are anymore. The school is calling here. Your friends call here at 12 and 1 in the morning. Their mamas are calling here looking for them. Had everything to do with you. Excuse me, I am talking to you. Or what? Don't touch me.
I've let you back into my heart so many times, but I still feel like you're lying to me and keeping secrets. I love you, Will, I do, but I don't know who you are anymore.
You got a girl who loves you more than anything. You take it for granted. You always take it for granted. Because you're selfish.
Look, we're descendants of kings and queens. Flowing through our veins, we got royalty. And if we focus real hard, we feel that energy. Rise up, create unity. Cause this is where we're meant to be. Time to reclaim our rightful place in history. All it takes is love and the right mentality. Rise up, this is loyalty. We rise.
We fight for our lives. You and me. Together, we rise.
I am into building up my kings and queens.
Your mind out the dark with your little hand in mine. Quality is a quality. We don't have to break apart. Live different.
It's gonna stop right there.
They're big snaps and claps. You're teasing us because we need to see all of this material.
Yeah, right.
I was really excited about the acting as well in the first sequence. You really were getting performances out of these actors and helping us understand the emotional life. Is that acting something else that you're interested in and following?
Not really. I just want to help people look their best when they're doing it. That's my whole thing. Because when I every time I see someone, I may have seen them on another project, but I always go to them and like, hey, I want to try something you never tried before because I know you have talent to do more. So that's kind of like my driving thing as far as like helping other people with that.
Oh, it's beautiful. And we're excited also about the video. You'll tell us when it's about to be released, but the detail and the color and the kind of like texture that you were after in this document is just very exciting as well. When's the release for that?
Well, it's actually online right now.
Yeah.
But the video, I wanted to make like a special version because in the beginning it has James Baldwin doing a little bit of speaking, and I wanted to some kind of way embed James Baldwin in there where you can kind of see something And then even, I believe it's some stuff with Sandra Bland in there as well when she was saying certain things, because I found it interesting that the things, you know, they talk about are still relevant. Like James Baldwin is super, super relevant. And I think more, yeah, I want to add that first because it's just tweaking little things. I'm not gonna say I'm a perfectionist, but it's just, I just feel, I don't know. It's like when it feels good, I think somebody else think it feel good too. If I feel like, I'm gonna get too many so I want to just make it feel good first.
And I see Leslie also just nodding in agreement, but we all probably have that, you know, that passion also means real detail orientations and really committed to try to get it just right. So we're fans, but you also pointed to the expense of filmmaking. And I think of the arts, filmmaking is super expensive. So maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later too, but if you have a GoFundMe or something to try to help some of those projects, we want to be sure to help get that information out too.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
you can go website. I got Art Design Soul. You can check that out.
And okay, beautiful. And well, Kimberly Knight, we're going to move on to Kimberly M. Knight. Thank you, if that's all right. And we're super excited that you're here as well to tell us something about your work. Let's start with, where are you right now? Where are you?
Yes, I am in Raleigh, North Carolina, and Osayo. To all of my friends that are native that may be watching, which means hello in Cherokee language. That was my first language as a child. So for me, my name's Kimberly Knight. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina, and giving land acknowledgement that this was once Tuscarora and Lumbee land. So just giving acknowledgement to that. I'm so happy to be here with everybody tonight.
Yes, and thank you for that too. The acknowledgement is so important because, you know, as Black and Indigenous, you know, we're all in it together, and it's like, these are our people who are our histories as well. So thank you for bringing that into the acknowledgement. How did you become an artist and a filmmaker?
Yeah, so my artistry really stemmed from therapy, believe it or not. So by day, I am a clinical therapist, but by night, I'm a creative. So, and by day, some too. So it just depends. But for me, I lost my husband to HIV complications of AIDS 9 years ago. And I became a super advocate and got out here and started doing the really great works of doing a lot of things to show support to the community and things like that, and worked in public health for about 6 years before becoming a licensed therapist. And what I found with that experience is I wanted to do something more creative, and my therapist suggested, you're such a good writer, why don't you start writing? So that came my blog. And the Lux Blog NC was born in 2015, October 2015. It just seems like a day ago, but it's literally crazy. It's been 5 years. And we're a creative group of 12 people on that team, artists that are photography, writing, blogging, influencing, videography. And we love to cover art, culture, style, and entertainment for North Carolina. And shout out to any of my subscribers that might be watching. And I know a few of them were messaging me like, oh, I can't wait to hear what you're gonna say tonight. So, but yes, that's how I got into the arts. And then that passion work in blogging led me to research my own family tree. Yes. And so I was so glad to hear that when Leslie said about the ancestry and family tree. And so I started researching my mother's family tree, because I always knew my father's Eastern Band and West African roots of the Ivory Coast, but my mother's in Eastern North Carolina, where I was born, was always a little bit not talked about. People were just going into like a few family secrets, little things people weren't really disclosing, you know, everything. So I started researching a few years ago and found a great passion for wanting to get into finding and connecting with new cousins. And one new cousin I met, his name is Frederick Murphy. He's a documentarian, historian, and licensed mental health therapist. How funny is that, to be a cousin and be? And so I was telling him I'm a blogger, and he was like, hey, cuz, you know, all this great energy you have and learning about your life and things, like, this should be on film. And that's how Duality was born. And it's a documentary that we're currently in film production, but I do have a trailer to show you tonight. So yeah, that's how I got into the arts.
It's a terrific story. I love how we're all coming from writing as well. Writing is in there, but also in your case, running this chasing family, but also finding family who are invested in similar kinds of passions. Let's take a look at the trailer.
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen, and let's see. I want to make sure I have it up here for you. There we go.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, thank you.
And so let me share screen. And so here I'm going to show you first my blog. This is the Lux blog NC. And like I said, we cover businesses, people, all of that. But I'm going to show you our little 2-minute trailer here of the Lux Blogs HIV awareness event we did in Durham, North Carolina. It ended up being the largest event that they've had in over 20 years. And we got proclaimed by the governor of our state, Governor Roy Cooper, for the last 5 years for HIV Cure Research Day. So I'm a co-founder of that day. So I'm gonna let you guys check out this, and then I'm gonna show you the trailer to Duality. So you can see this. And let me know if you can hear it.
Yes, we can.
We're here at Resident Black Fashion Show. We are so excited to be here today. Yeah, we're running around, so just a few, we're gonna get started.
Looking you over, you don't know my name yet. By the time you looked away, already knew I couldn't fake it. I got this need for you, forming in my beating heart. I knew the meaning right away, only yesterday we were worlds apart. I got this thing for you, if you come closer I can whisper in your ear. And if you wanna walk away, I'll tell you all the things I know you wanna hear. I got this naked for you. Yesterday, we're worlds apart. I think I may love you if you give me some time. Maybe you'll love me too.
Awesome. So that one was, yes, thank you, everyone. That was in 2016, June 4th, 2016. And that was, we were able to raise a lot of money for the Alliance of AIDS Services in Raleigh, North Carolina. We were also able to have the opportunity to have over 50 people tested at that event. So we were very excited about that. Over 350 people attended. So it was just a really awesome project to do with UNC Chapel Hill. And it was at North Carolina Central University, which is my alma mater, as a HBCU. So for those in North Carolina, you know, that's near and dear. So definitely it was awesome. But that was 2016. Let's fast forward now to 2021. And so this next piece is Duality, a collection of Afro-Indigenous perspectives. And this really speaks to the voices that are not always heard so much when we talk about Native American or Indigenous people. And I'm really excited about this project. We are still in production and film. We're looking to release in fall 2022. But here is the trailer. So let me get ready for that one for you. Let's see. And share screen here. There we go. All right.
So to be Afro-Indigenous to me is the burden or the honor, however you look at it. I'd say I look at it as a little of both, of telling 3 stories.
I'm very proud of being Native and of being Black because I feel as though we are 2 of the most predominant creators in the world.
For the entirety of the time that my ancestors have lived in this country, my African and my Indigenous ancestors have lived in this country in contact with Western culture, it has tried to destroy them.
Walter Pleckler was like the father of eugenics. And right around the 1900s, 1920s, he was reclassifying Native Americans as colored. If the census people came and they found out you were Indian, they would take you out back and shoot you in the head.
I think that's a lot of the reason why we struggle with anti-Blackness is because we were reclassified as Black. And a lot of people in the community felt like they had to detach from being Black because they were seeking recognition from the colonial settler state.
As a Native American person and coming from a mother who looks like this, not only was I like often ostracized by people just in the world, but it felt especially intentional when it was my own family members doing the attacking.
Our invisibility, our suffering, our generational trauma exists today.
One of the biggest contributors to the erasure of Afro-Indigenous people is that so many people are in love with this fake Hollywood idea of what an Indian has to look like. And that drives them to tell people who look different, who challenge that, to say, you're not real, you're not authentic, you don't count, etc.
To those who do not see me as Indian looking, I say, what does an Indian look like? Because we are such a multitude of colors, shapes, sizes, eye colors, hair textures. We are a variety of people.
I can't imagine what it is like to try to survive all of the traumas of war, of genocide, of slavery, of disease, of depopulation, and to still wake up the next day and decide that you are going to love your children so much that you are not going to let this be their story. And you are going to make something different. And to have to do that again and again and again, generation after generation until I am here, that is what resilience is.
Thank you so much, everyone.
We are super excited to be able to have that preview of this work in progress. You know, it's transformational to help us start to, you know, as you say, bring voices back into the larger conversation. Because, you know, we're having these conversations in smaller spaces, but we need to keep opening them out to other folks. It's just beautiful, beautiful work. Thank you.
Thank you. I serve as co-director and co-producer for this film. This is my first film, so I'm excited to get in there and start becoming a documentarian. So I'm really excited about this opportunity. Thank you so much.
No, there you go. Well, we have time, of course, for questions and conversations among all of us. Let's start with the panelists, though. And I guess I would ask you, you know, we already said some things that connected the projects. But was there something else you wanted to ask each other? I see in the chat, Leslie, you were already asking Shanteel about like who's rapping in the video. So we could start there.
Yeah, did you rap in the video, Rukiya?
Oh, you muted. Sorry, you muted. Rukiya, you muted. There you go.
Okay, yeah, I wrote that. Yeah.
And that was you. That was you performing, right?
I tried.
No, you didn't try. That was
Can you
hot.
hear me?
You did great.
Thank you.
Yes.
You know, we needed something to do during COVID-19. You needed something to do. But I just
That's
like,
true, but that's more than that. Let's hold it down.
But that's a really good point. Like you literally have to wear so many hats as a filmmaker. You have to sometimes do the narration and edit and shoot and rap, you know, and just do whatever it takes to pull it together, you know. So much respect for that.
It's a great point. And Leslie, you're clearly such a deep researcher too. And that's something else that's a part of your work that's in there, you know, like trying to find out and chase down the story and get the information. It's also something that Sister Kimberly's up to as well. So were you always thinking of research as a kind of part of your craft?
I love to research. I think I always have. I love history, documentaries that are steeped in history. So when I got the chance to really start researching and learning how to research and become a researcher, I really got into it. And what I realized, what I'm finding 10 years later, is there are so many people from my grandfather's show. There were like 100 cast members every season for like 40 years. And people are now reaching out to me looking for, all they know is that their mother may have performed on this show or their grandfather performed on this show. And literally, you guys, just like 2 weeks ago, I helped this woman find her dad. She thought he was a musician on the show, and she knew what year he performed on the show. And Billboard magazine used to be the magazine for outdoor amusement, and they had a listing of all the staff members on these side shows. So I was able to go into Billboard magazine, look at the year that she was talking about, and I found her father's name. He was listed as a cook for the Harlem and Havana troupe. And I sent her this information, and I guess they got on Ancestry.com or did whatever work they needed to do, and they found this man alive in Chicago. He's like in his 80s, and she had never met her father before. So, and that has happened like throughout the course of this project. I find myself researching, looking for photos for people, trying to connect other people's, stories, family stories. So that's been like the most amazing part of my project. Yeah, the research has been great. Yeah.
It's deep and it's so important. Kimberly, you were saying it was your first, complete film. So what's the most surprising thing you figured out so far in this project of the duality production?
Yeah, I think, thank you for that question. That's a great one. I think the part is knowing that film days are long days, and that, and so much appreciation to editors for the B-roll footage and all those things that come with the editing for filmmaking. I am really appreciative of that. But I guess a fun surprise was just the film days of COVID. You're trying to be safe and keep everybody scheduled and making sure we're separating everyone in spaces where they feel comfortable. So it was an adjustment to be filming during COVID-19. That was definitely a fun fact.
Yeah, we're all in that adjustment still,
right. Like literally masked everywhere.
Dozens of masks all over the place. No, thank you for that answer. And Rukiya, you were talking about your artistry and your painting. Can you tell us a little more? Can we see something?
I can kind of slide over a little bit.
Yes,
this is me sharing my screen.
Oh, wow.
This was kind of like the inspiration too for the song, like this painting. I don't want to see all that. I don't want to drop the camera, but it's some things. But I had an art exhibition. My first one was in 2019, ironically. And that was pretty interesting as far as the people I got to meet. Because I think a lot of people, when we promoted it, they were thinking one group of people was going to come out, and it was a whole other group of people that came out for the Soul exposition. But I sold like some pieces. So I'm like really down to like a few pieces. So I'm starting to find my voice and my skill set, I guess, as an artist. Because I know a lot of people that they use like oils and watercolors, and I think that's like super dope. And I can't use that to save my life. I'm stuck with acrylic. Okay. But I'm trying to adventure out with that though. I had a question though for Kimberly. Is she on here? Can she hear me?
Yeah, she can.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I'm not Zoom like efficient, like totally, like I'm really not. But I was looking at, I feel like, and even with Leslie, I feel like we got a lot in common just by kind of paying attention to, I don't know if LaToya did that on purpose.
I think she probably did, because LaToya rolls like that.
Kimberly, I'm like, wait a minute. I got that Aboriginal stuff going on too, right? And I was like, everybody up here probably, but not only that, but just other things too, as far as like the skill set though. But I guess you said your it's coming out in 2022. Is it February?
So fall next year. We're looking to have a release and hopefully be safer where we can be out amongst the public a little bit more for screenings. But yes, we are. Our goal is where this can be an educational tool in schools as well as universities and communities, especially different communities of color. So we just want to spread the word, and we're looking to. This was filmed in North Carolina. I meant to mention that it was filmed on Okanee Band of Saponi land in North Carolina and Mebane area. So we're looking to venture outside of North Carolina to film as well. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was pretty dope because I was like, you know, I almost cried when I was watching it. You know what I'm saying? That indicates a good trailer right there. That tears
yes,
right here.
Yes, because I could feel yours with that music hit. I was like, whew, like it resonates in the soul. And it's just like each of your passion words, you can feel it. And Leslie, I loved yours as well because my heart is pulled because I had so many clients that were trans women or trans men. So it really pulls to just learn even more in depth about what it is. Like I've never liked the term drag king personally because I feel it didn't fit for people's representation, but just to know that there's a film about it, it's like, wow, I got to watch this. It's gonna be amazing. So
thank you.
Happy to be here.
Yes, we are big upping each other because there's an abundance of riches. I was just writing in the chat to Latoya. So Brother Rashid has put in sort of the websites and also the donate to duality. That's already there for us, thank goodness. You know, because yeah, we want to be there with you and keep you here with us. We're just so glad to be in communion and fellowship through this organization and sharing stories with each other. It's just really, really beautiful. Is there anyone else on the call who'd like to ask a question to the panelists?
I have a question.
Thank you, go ahead.
This is Charnel Bryan. I'm actually the National Secretary and Treasurer for Gamma Xi Phi. So my question is, was there anything throughout the process of working on your respective projects? Was there, like, for example, I know a lot of research goes into your projects before the filming starts, but was there anything that you just learned that was new to you just on the spot? Like this was oh wow, I was today years old when I learned this. And what was that big moment?
I could jump in and say, for me, for sure, first of all, I want to give Brother Thomas a shout out because when I was going through my research and development phase, which was like the first 5 years of the project, because I knew nothing, I did reach out to him and he wrote a letter of support, which helped me to get grant money for this project. So thank you so much. But so 5 years into this project, I'm doing my research. I'm looking at all the old Billboard magazine archives, which weren't online when I started the project, and then they started coming online, and I was able to get Billboard magazine articles as far back as the 30s, 40s, 50s, and they kept calling the show a damn jig show. Didn't know what I was like. Why do they keep calling my grandfather's show jig show? And then it was just like this light bulb went off in my head, like, oh shit, like this was a jig show, you know. This is where those terms came from, jigaboo and, you know, jigger, and, you know, this is when those terms were born. And so I didn't know that going in. I was going to call it something completely different. And halfway, sort of at the end of my research, I made the final decision to name it what it was, which was Jig Show. And I got a lot of, you know, pats on the back for that, but I also got a lot of feedback and frustration from some Black, you know, the Black community. They didn't want me to call it Jig Show. And I had to really do the research. So that was just like this shocker for me. And I had to, as a journalist, I had to, you know, check my biases. I had to check how I was feeling about it. So that was it for me, was that sort of changed the course of the project.
Thank you. Rukiya, this is a great question. For you?
Ooh, it could be so many different things, so many. But I think for me, because I've grown, I want to say over time, I'm getting a little better being able to communicate what I need to be seen on screens, everyone, you know, all that good stuff. But with me, it's understanding the purpose of a call sheet. That right there, it's starting to save lives. Because before it was like, hey, you just come on through, you know, this is the time. No. So that just getting people where they need to be at the right time and being prepared is like important to me. So like now I storyboard everything. I just follow the boards and follow the call sheet.
There you go. Time management, Black time management, color people time. You know, we have to take extra care along the way.
Yes, we need everybody on set.
Let's hear it, Sister Kimberly, for you.
Yeah, I think for me, there was a little bit of pushback just from different Indigenous communities that were wondering like, well, what does this term Afro-Indigenous mean? And, you know, because Eastern North Carolina people may call themselves Black Indians or Black Natives. So that concept of the word Afro-Indigenous, which we found, that was a part of the big research, was to find terminology that was going to be a little bit universal, but felt encompassing and inclusive, but kind of people knew what it meant when they saw it. They knew exactly what population we're trying to discuss. And so, you know, we just having to educate the community, just having to educate people on, you know, people in your family or friends that are of African-American and Native American ancestry. This is an identifier, but we don't, you know, throw labels on people. You have rights to, you know, identify how you choose, but it's kind of using this terminology to kind of open up the conversation. And that was like the surprising part was just a little bit of the feedback. And then also, I knew that it was going to really be a deep topic to discuss, especially some of the questions we had for the interviewees. But I think when the after footage was really inspiring, just hearing how people were so glad that finally a project like this. So that was kind of like the surprise things for me.
Well, there you go. I really appreciate your participation and the surprise of art making and storytelling. You are all amazing storytellers. We all aspire to be able to tell stories through our creativity, but it's just been really inspirational this evening to be among you and hear about what's going on and feel the passion through even the Zoom call around the work that you're making. I'm gonna turn things back first with a big hand clap and turn things back to Sister LaToya to take us out. Amazing evening. Thank you.
Yes, I'd just like to say a heartfelt thank you to everyone who attended. Thank you so much to Leslie, Rukiya, Kimberly for allowing us the opportunity to bask in your brilliance. And yes, I will admit there was a motive behind the madness of asking you three to participate. Because as I was saying before, I've been so enriched and challenged by each of you in your respective ways of bringing forth the life through your lenses. I think that is commendable, that we so often are willing to look past the realities that are around us. And I think that it's commendable that each of you in your respective avenues allow those who don't have a chance to see the communities that we walk and live among, and to do it in such an artistic way. I think it's just a wonderful use of the talents that you all have. And I want to be in any way a help to broadcast and to expand your opportunities to go forth and share what you do. And I want to say thank you to everyone who attended the call, all of my brothers and sisters of Gamma Xi Phi, all of those who are supportive of your respective endeavors. I hope that this is the first of many opportunities that we all can grow in support and appreciation of art. I think that we have a narrow viewpoint of what constitutes being an artist. And I think that we all have those abilities that we have to let loose and unleash so that we can elevate each other's consciousness and be able to be an asset. So again, thank you for attending. I know that this is a work week for some of us and we have to get home or get comfortable or transition from being and wearing our good clothes. I know I personally have walked back into the office and I'm wearing real street clothes for the first time in a year and a half.
So mother is about to decompress and put on her night clothes. So thank you all, and please, thank you, Brother Rashid, for doing an excellent job of running the show. Please, if you have not had the opportunity, please visit the Gamma Xi Phi website. We have a phenomenal social media presence. I want to recognize Sister Sunny and Brother Hunter, my brothers and sisters from Alabama. Please, if you have the opportunity on Instagram, please follow them. They are our older chapter. They are doing exceptional work. So please friend us, visit us, tag us, share events. Please follow us. We have chapters, as Rashid was saying, throughout the country, and we're always doing something remarkable and phenomenal. So please follow us on Instagram. I don't think we have any TikTokers, but please follow us. And if you see an event that's coming up, please register, please attend. Hopefully I will see you at some future events that Gamma Xi Phi is doing. So again, thank you, and I bid you a good Thursday night.